Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth, and on this channel we talk about how you can build your spiritual confidence so you can listen to your intuition and read your tarot cards with ease. And today I am so excited because we are going to be opening the Tarot Life Planner and starting to plan our lives using the tarot and astrology. I am beyond excited, I can't tell you. So rather than me sitting here talking about it, let's spin the camera around and look inside the journal, and I will show you what it is I've put together that's going to enable you to have the most complete life plan that you can revisit again and again using the power of astrology and the tarot. I'll see you in a moment. So here we are. Here is my life planner folder. I've just used an A4 folder, which if you're in the US is equivalent to a US letter folder. And yes, the files do come in my Etsy shop in both A4 and US letter. Now, last time we looked at the planner, I went through the whole thing, so I'm not going to go through all the instructions for you again. We are going to dive straight into the astrological houses, and wait till I show you what we're going to do. And for those of you who have your folder, I hope that in the last week you've managed to sort of put something together. Don't go to a whole lot of trouble. Make it simple, because that way you know you'll get on with it and you'll do it. And this is the sort of thing where I think you're probably going to be printing pages at different times, maybe doing things an extra, doing things twice, maybe 3 times, if you feel like you want to go back and revisit any section of the folder. So actually, I think a 2-ring binder is really good, or a 4-ring binder, or whatever you can get, because then you can add and take pages out, if that makes sense. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to have to take all the pages out to show you, is we are going to be looking at this here, which is your Wheel of Life. And what we're going to do is we are going to score between 1 and 10. If you look at each, or maybe if I take a step back. So this is when life coaches and counselors and psychologists want people to sort of get more clarity in their life. What they often do is they create a Wheel of Life. Now, some of you may have seen this, some of you may have even done one before, some of you, this may be completely new. And the idea is that you look at each aspect of your life, and you might pick the aspects of your life, and most people pick about 8 of them, and then they score between 1 and 10. So 1 is not very satisfied, 10 is very satisfied. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've got 10 little boxes, and you basically score as you go around the circle of the areas of your life. And then it occurred to me that actually astrology is about life. And it's a wheel, or at least tropical astrology is. So I thought, I wonder what would happen is if we looked at every single house going around the Wheel of Life, and we looked at that house, and we looked at our own lives, and we scored our own life for each one of the astrological houses. So the Wheel of Life is like, or this version of the Wheel of Life with the houses is just like a natal chart, except it's a static version of it. So this is my natal chart that I got from Astrodienst, and I will put the link to go into Astrodienst to get your actual natal chart with all of the placement of the signs, the planets, the houses, and everything at the very moment of your birth. If you know your birthday, that's helpful, but if you know your birth time, that makes it even more accurate in terms of the placement of all of the angles and everything on your chart. So the Wheel of Life, or the astrological wheel that I've built, is a combination of astrology and this process of creating a wheel of life that you can use to assess your life. So if we look here, we've got house 1, the self, house 2, resources, house 3, communication, house 4, home and family, house 5, creativity, house 6, routines, house 7, relationships, house 8, legacy, house 9, meaning, house 10, reputation, house 11, community, and house 12, intuition. The first house always sits underneath the midline, and you go counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, or for those of us who are Wiccan, widdershins around the wheel. So what I thought I would do today is I would have a look at each one of the houses, have a quick chat to you. What I've done here is some notes that basically have some keywords for each one of the houses and the star sign going around, and it just gives you a little bit of an overview of the astrological wheel. Then what I've done is I've got the 12 astrological houses in terms of where the tarot cards sit. Now, if you're interested in knowing a little bit more detail about that, I have these in my Etsy shop, and I'll put a link to them down in the comments and in the description box for you to go and have a look at. These go into detail about the placement of the tarot cards according to the Golden Dawn attributions, which are the ones that we tend to go back to. And when I do some more training with you on the Golden Dawn, you'll understand a lot more about why we do that, so that you can understand more about the placement of the tarot cards on the wheel. And then what I've done, for those of you who've bought my journal, is I've explained the connection between the tarot cards. So you've got here, you've got Aries, which rules the Emperor, and Mars, which rules the Tower. And I've explained how that connects to the first house, which is the house of self. So I hope that's sort of, you understand what I mean by that. So what we're going to do is we're going to work our way through each one of the houses. I'm not going to go into great detail because those of you who've bought my journal can read all of that. But what I am going to talk about is basically what each house defines, and I'm going to just fill it in myself so you can see what one looks like when it's finished. And then we're going to use this wheel as we work through the journal to come up with some life goals and things like that. So what I like to use, and these will be in my Amazon shop, and I get a small commission when people purchase something from my Amazon shop. And I love these Staedtler textures. I've tried what do you call them in America? Felt tip markers. In Fineliners. In Australia, we call them texters. And these are fabulous. I've also think these are the best pencils I have ever bought. I have bought really expensive pencils, and I keep going back to these, and they are so well priced. For those of you in Australia, you can get all these things from Officeworks. You don't have to buy them from Amazon, but of course, if you choose to, and you want to give my channel a little bit of a helping hand, that's great. But these are wonderful, and occasionally Officeworks has a 72 set that has even more colour in. That's about the biggest size I think that they go to. Then you have to buy the really expensive ones to get the really big set. So I am going to start with the self. So I've got questions here to help you. So I've got your description of the tarot card against with the house. I've got all your indicators there. We've got a little bit of description of what the house is about, and then some questions for you to ask yourself. So I'm just going to pick a color, and I think I'm going to pick red because it is a cardinal house, and cardinal is and this particular cardinal element is ruled by fire, so I'm going to use red. So the description is the first house defines who you are. It describes your physical appearance, your personality. Because this is the first house on the astrological wheel, it is the place where goals are manifested and you decide what you want for yourself. So how do I feel I'm sitting with that? Well, I think I'm going to give myself around about an 8. And the reason for that is I'm really happy in myself, but I don't know that I'm always clear about what I want for myself, and I know that I'm not very good at planning out what I want for myself. So if I'm thinking about this in terms of planning, then really I think about an 8. I'm not unhappy with my life, but I think there could be some improvement. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go like that. I'm going to go like that down the side. And of course, what I like to do, I'm a bit of an outlining texter, colour in pencil. This is how I do things. So I'm going to outline that like that. See how beautiful these Fineliners are? I just love them to pieces. I love them. I eventually want to colour my own Rider-Waite-Smith deck and make it available. That's another one of my little dreams. All right, let's look at these pencils. How stunning are they? Whoops. Let's just throw them all out, Elizabeth. And then it looks like there's a nice red in there, nice bright red. We'll pull that out. And then I just go like this through the middle. Give it a bit of a colour in. And then you get some nice colour on your wheel as well. Okay, see how nicely they cover? And they're so well priced. So well priced. All right. Then the next one, of course, is house 2. House 2 is resources. The second house is about seeking your personal security through the material world. When moving through the house in the astrological year, you focus on what you physically need to be comfortable in your life. This house is associated with Taurus and the ruling planet of Venus. The major arcana cards associated with the second house are the Hierophant, but due to Venus, the ruler, also the Empress card. So we are looking at a fixed sign in Taurus and an element of earth. So we're going to use green. And I'm going to pick out quite a light green. And use that. Now, what do I think about resources for me? I actually think my resources are really good. And I'm thinking about my material world. So I think I'm in a really good place. I feel really comfortable. I mean, obviously everybody always feels like they could have more, but I feel really satisfied with that. I feel satisfied with what I have. So I'm going to give myself a 9. Very few people actually get all the way to 10. They might, if you put 10 all the way around your wheel, you are not being really truthful. And then at the end of it, I'll show you what our goal is. Okay. And you can see as you look at each one of these, you start to apply it to your own life. It helps you to internalize what each one of these houses is about. I'm going to start putting these back in my folder so I don't end up in a great big mess. All right. Number 3. And of course, this journal is available in my Etsy shop. So if you love my work, one great way to support me is to go to my Etsy shop and purchase my journal. I will put a link down in the comments. And of course, don't forget, you can also like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss an upload. And of course, that activates the beautiful YouTube algorithm. I hope they're not listening to me saying all this. But yes, it activates the YouTube algorithm, and that certainly helps to spread the word about my channel. So, number 3, communication. Description: communication and movement within your local community is the focus of this house. This house is about building close relationships with the people around you. Notice the messages given to you from your personal network so you can absorb what you need and leave behind what you don't. Now, this I am struggling with because of lockdown. I'm really, really struggling in terms of having connection with anyone apart from Prince Charming. Even my children can't come and visit me at the moment because I'm in Melbourne and I'm in the most locked down city. And we've tried the park and promptly got rained on. So it's been really interesting in terms of my connection with others has all been Messenger, mobile phone calls. You know, I've been able to do a little bit of outings in terms of I've got a friend looking for a house and he doesn't have any family. So we kind of figured that I could go and go and look at a house with him. But even that's been traumatic because, with masks and all going in one at a time and social distancing and all of that. So I would say normally for communication for me and my connection with my community and things like that, I would say that's high, but I'm going to give myself probably about a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that really needs work. And as soon as we get out of lockdown and everything settles down next year, I am going to be putting quite a lot of work into my connections with others. I'm not happy with that part of my life. All right. Now, the reason I'm using yellow is because we are talking about the sign of Gemini, house 3, and the element is air, which is communication. So you can see how these elements are matching up with the houses because you've got the element of fire, which is about taking action. So that's self. You've then got resources, which is your grounding, which is earth. And then you've got communication, which is about reaching out into your community, which is air. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. All right. And of course, if you all love this, I'm going to look at doing some tutorials on YouTube. So they'll be free where you can come and bring your journal and we can all chat together. And it'll, of course, be a live stream, but I want to do it on Zoom so that you can all come in and chat and all that sort of thing. And they'll be free as well. So if that's something you love to do, please put a comment. Please say something down in the comments so that I know that that's something that you'd like. All right, house 4. House 4 is home and family. All right. So home and family, which is Cancer, the sign of Cancer. Element water, which of course is emotion. Oh, got to find a pale blue. Here we go. Nice blue pen. All right, the 4th house represents your relationship to home and family. This house sits at the base of the natal chart, so here, and forms the foundation of your life. Therefore, focus for this month is on home, making communication and healthy boundaries with family members. Create more private, nurturing spaces for yourself within your family environment. So I feel like my connection with my family is awful at the moment, again because of COVID, so it's going to need some work when we come out of the pandemic. But also my home is a bit chaotic. We moved, it's funny, we moved everything around in our house to experiment with moving our bedroom because I'm an empty nester, and we thought we'd try different rooms because we had lived in the house the same way for so long. And I live in a very old home, and it's possible to sort of swap rooms around because they don't actually have built-in wardrobes or anything. So we tried that and I don't like it. So I'm in chaos. So I'm going to say that that's another area of my life that needs some work. So we're going to go here about a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. house 5. So, house 5. Description. This is the house of intimate connection. So this is creativity. So this is intimate connection with both yourself and others in terms of meeting your need for expression. This house is linked to your self-expression with a focus on being intimately creative. This house is about intense moments of self-realization that boost your confidence and strength. And I would have to give myself a 9. I don't know that I could give myself a 10. Obviously, what I do is so creative, and I also do other things at home that are really creative as well. So I would have to give myself a 9, and being in lockdown has also really pushed me into it. I mean, we haven't really been able to do much else but be at home and do stuff. So I don't even have, that distraction of sort of going off and doing other things because it's just been so locked in, really. So I'm going to give myself a 9 for that. I don't think I need to give myself any more attention when it comes to my creativity. And it's red because it is a house of fire. So element fire, zodiac Leo. So we're talking about a fixed sign, but we're fixed fire. And isn't it interesting? It's another sign, it's another house about the self, and we're colouring it red. So you can see how when you start to do this sort of thing, you start to actually look at things in a different way, and that helps you to internalize it. So there's my house 5. Okay. And you can see what's starting to form here. We're getting a wheel, and some of the areas are right out to the edge and some of them aren't. And that's really interesting. And I'll show you when it's all done at the end just what that means in terms of thinking about your life. All right, house 6, we're nearly halfway through. House 6. So house 6 is routines. So this house brings your health, wellness, and daily habits into sharp focus. The person you are at birth is the focus of the first house. The choices you make over your life is the focus of the 6th house. This is your month to focus on time management and daily habit tracking, create healthy routines to last a lifetime. So this is a house of earth. So again, this is about what's grounding, what's practical. So we're talking about Virgo, we're talking about element of earth, so what's practical and grounding, life routines, and I have to score myself a 3. I am a disaster in that. And part of that's lockdown and part of that's me. And I do know that I need to work on that. And that will be one of the things that I'm going to be working on in the new year as I put my plan together. Okay, next one. House 7. Relationships. Your partnerships in all areas of life are the focus of this house. This house is about balance, fairness, and boundaries in relationships. Move forwards and move beyond words and promises to make things official. So this is thinking about, I wanted to be really careful how I worded this, because this is a house really about relationships and commitment and marriage and that sort of thing. But of course, not everybody believes in marriage. Marriage is not always for everybody. And it's really about those boundaries around commitment, about what you will and won't do in your life that are really, really important. And house 7 is about focusing on those. So if we think about that, we're looking at, for me, I'm thinking I'm very good at setting boundaries. I have a really good relationship with Prince Charming. That's why I call him Prince Charming. I would say I'm pretty good at having boundaries in relationships. People don't always like the boundaries that I put in place, but I'm pretty good at having them because I have realized something my mother said to me years ago, and that was how you start is how you'll finish. And in my life, there's been times where maybe I've compromised myself and kind of laid the boundary down and then sort of said one thing and then maybe compromised myself and not stuck to the boundary. And it's never, ever ended well. So as I've got older, and I think as you get older, you feel stronger in yourself because you've had life's experience. You do put those boundaries in place. So I'm going to give myself around about an 8. You know, you could even look at this as being about self-care. And again, this is communication. So this is a house of air. It's a cardinal house. So it's a house of taking action. And we colour it yellow. Oh, what am I doing? Wrong one. Ha ha. That always happens to me. It's all right. We can fix it. I've got an eraser in here. I just know it. We'll clear that off. And it'll look a bit strange, but that's okay. And we will go to here, which is relationships. All right, house 8. House 8. That's house 7. House 8. So house 8 is legacy. So we're looking at, it's an emotional house. So blue is the color, traditional color. And these are the traditional colors of the elements. That's why I color code a lot of things to do with the tarot. Because of the, it helps you to internalize the meanings of the cards. So what's the description? This house is the house of personal transformation. Birth, life, sex and death all represent states of change. This is the house to pause and understand the complexities of life. You might find you notice spiritual symbolism around you or feel the need to dig deeper into life's mysteries. I called it legacy because it's about you thinking about all the different stages of your life and what you leave behind, how you manage each stage, things like birth, death, leaving a will, looking after the people around you, all of those things. And I would say I'm probably around about halfway. There's things that I really need to sort out in that particular aspect of my life. So I'm going to put myself there. And again, I'm being mindful that this is a public forum and I don't need to be putting all my personal stuff out there. House 8 is intensely personal, and that's why it's coloured blue and put, with the element of emotion, because it is intensely personal, and every life stage has its challenges. And it's about where you're at right now and how you're managing those challenges and how you are in the world. Are you proud of where you are in the world? Things like that. All right, house 9. House 9, resources. So we are again at a mutable house, which is the power of change, but we're looking at the element, and we're looking at the element of fire. So this is resources. So this is about you taking action for yourself. House 9 invites you to move out of your comfort zone. So again, this is about you and discovering something new. visit a new place, meet new people, or learn something new. Focus on having a completely new perspective in life. So this is about stepping out, finding meaning for yourself. Quite different from creativity. Creativity is what you do with that meaning. This is about stepping out and experiencing everything that life has to offer and understanding it. I would say I am probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about a 6. Some of that is lockdown that's put me into that. Some of that is just life transition, because it's not always possible to step out in ways that perhaps you'd like to, but thinking about how are ways that you can challenge yourself, even to learn something new using the internet. I mean, YouTube's a wonderful place to do all of that. What is it that you're doing to give your life more meaning, knowledge, depth, and understanding that's going to increase your own personal place within the world? House 10. The 10th house represents the highest point of the astrological chart. It is the apex of your story. So we're looking at reputation. It is the apex of your story. Termed as the midheaven, it signifies the highest point of your success. This house focuses on the symbols of your success, whether they be public image, professional reputation, career or personal achievements. Now, I wrote down reputation. Often this house is referred to as career, but not everybody wants to have a career. This is about how people view you, what you're doing in the world that's meaningful, looking at your legacy, looking at your creativity, looking at how you communicate in the world. And this is about how you are looked at by others. And I would say, I mean, this is a really hard one. I am very happy with where I'm at the moment in my life. I think I'm the happiest I've been in an awfully long time because I'm doing what I love online, but also I think I've got different priorities and a different shift in my life than I've ever had before. So I'm going to give myself about a 7. We can always work on our reputation and how other people view us, but I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. And of course, this is about Earth. This is again the practicalities of life, how you engage in life, what's important to you. And of course, it's a cardinal sign. So this is about taking another house about taking action. So we're talking about Capricorn, a cardinal sign, taking action. And we even know that people that are of the Capricorn sign are all about striving out and being, having meaning. Okay, so our next one is community, house 11. House 11 is Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign. So this is about your community. So this is the house that is linked to the work we do for others. So a little bit different to reaching out and communicating with others. This is about our role within the world. This is the house where we connect with what the world is all about. It is also the house of technology and innovation. This is a little bit different to the communication house, which is about how you reach out to others and link in with them. This is about, it's almost the house of doing good work. It's your contribution to your community. And I would say it's interesting. I think I give a lot in terms of what I do out there in the online community, but in my immediate community, I would say I probably don't do very much really. I'm not really engaged in my local community house or in the local school or anything like that. So I'm going to give myself probably about a 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could probably do a little bit more out there in the world, I think, to create community. Not necessarily just for myself, but for the people around me as well. And of course, it's an air sign. So again, this is about going out and expressing yourself and speaking your truth. And then our last house is house 12, which is intuition, which is so important. This is your ability to listen to yourself. I could almost call this house confidence. So again, this is your emotion. This is looking inside. The 12th house governs what is without physical form, dreams, secrets, emotions. If you're born within the 12th house, you are often highly intuitive, even psychic. This is a time when we can attract karmic people into our lives. So of course, I'm going to give myself a 9 for intuition because I work on it all the time. I teach it. It's something that I live, eat, sleep, and breathe all the time. So I'm going to give myself a 9. But that sort of spiritual side of your life, you might even want to look at it as your religious connection. Whatever works for you, I think, in terms of understanding how your intuition plays such an important role in your life, particularly in that ability to listen to yourself. So there's all our aspects of the wheel. Now, ideally, what we want to aim for, and pretty much it's very hard to do, is to have all 12 aspects of the wheel at 9 or 10. We want to have them all even, and we want to have them out as high as we can. Now, it is impossible to have every single one of these perfect. It's just impossible because life's huge and we all go through different challenges at different times in our lives. But you can see that if these were the spokes of the wheel going around, that we're going to have a bit of a rocky road here. I've got some aspects of my life that are very low and other aspects that are quite high. So the ones that are low, we know are the ones that need attention. So if you look down here on how to score your wheel, you've got scores ranging from 8 to 10. You are extremely satisfied in that category. Your work here is to ensure you continue to feel happy in those areas of your life. Scores ranging 5 to 7, you are more or less satisfied with this category and there may be some things you'd like to work on. And scores ranging 1 to 4, you're not happy with these areas of your life at all and you need to find room in your life to bring these areas back into balance. So this is a really great way to reflect on the houses, and I've got information there for you. I've got the meaning of the modality, I've got the ruling planet, the zodiac, I've got the elements and some keywords for you, and then some description and some reflection questions to help you move through the wheel. And of course, this just gives you some instructions on how to use the wheel, or you can watch my video. So that's it for now. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to move into the Imagine section, and that is where we are going to use some tarot cards to reflect on our wheel of life. And I am super, super excited to do that. So that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed the first stage of the training, which is on, where's my page? Where's it gone? Ah, here we are. Which is on connecting, which is the first section, connecting with yourself through the 12 astrological houses. So take care, everybody. Please, if you love this journal, you can purchase it in my Etsy shop. The link will be down in the description box and in the comments. And of course, if you would like to purchase any of the other things I used in this video, the textures and the pencils, they of course are in my Amazon shop as well. Take care, everybody, and I will see you in our next training video. Bye-bye.